Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes.
Okay. So far we have went through the research characteristic, and in research characteristic we have understood about objectivity and reliability, and third one we were understanding validity, the third characteristic of research. So validity means accuracy of procedure or a research instrument or a test, right? So in this validity has its different types. So first type we have learned about is internal validity. Its actual meaning is establishing a clear cause and effect relationship between variables. Means when we took our variables for research, the clear cause and effect relationship should be there, and it should not be explained by other variables. Other variables means extraneous variable or confounding variables. So this is what about internal validity we have discussed. Now today we will discuss external validity. External validity means how well you can use a study results. See how well you can use a study results for different situations and people, right? I'm emphasizing on these words, different situations and people. Scientific research wants to make knowledge that works in the real world. If external validity is low, lab result won't apply well to others due to biases. Generalization will not be possible in low external validity. So here external validity means different situation and different situations and people. So in external validity, it is completely about the study use of study result for different situation and people, where we know that scientific research create knowledge for in the real world. So if external validity is low, then it won't be possible to generalize your result on the general people on a larger area. So this is what about external validity say. Here we see a example for it. See, if you test people see themselves as smarter than peers in academics, right? People think that I'm smarter than my friend in general scenario. So on that we took that problem. Okay, we go for a research on this problem. So you use 200 science engineering student, in which only male you took 18 to 20 years old, and all are belong to a high income. These are your samples and a criteria, and for a math oblique science test. So they rate performance means after a result, after test, they rate performance that it is 66% what they think they are smarter, right? Now question is that, can we say most believe they are better or smarter? So your chosen group isn't include. So what comes after that? Your chosen group isn't include all students at your university, right? What you included only STEM means science, technology, engineering and mathematics student. You are not including commerce, arts and other stream students. We can only apply findings to similar group. You can apply findings to similar group. You are not applying it on other group. like educated men in STEM. For better result, include diverse people, women, different major countries and background. So external validity means validity should be applied on all kind of groups, all kind of on different diverse people, women, different majors, countries, or whatever the group are there. So this is what about external validity. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Now, third validity is face validity. Internal we have understood, external we have understood. Third one is face validity. Face validity is a among the four type of measure validity. Measure means calculative, where we do a calculation, some kind of calculation. So among four type of validity, measure validity are phase validity, construct validity, content validity, and criterion validity. These four are measure validity, right? So first we understand about phase validity. So phase validity is about whether a test, right? Whether a test appears, remember this word appears, to measure what it's supposed to measure. Is it simple? What phase validity do? It should be appear like that, and it should be measure what it is, it was should it was supposed to do, right? Phase validity is about whether a test appears to measure what it's supposed to measure. Means if you prepare a questionnaire, right? And in questionnaire you want to measure about the taste of the tea. If you open a shop of a tea shop, and you have prepared a questionnaire to take a test, what how was the taste of a tea. So you include only questions from means related to tea. And if you use what was the taste of the coffee, or what was how was the taste of a pakoda, so that will not appear like a same, and it won't means measure what you want intended to measure, right? So phase validity is about whether a test appears to measure and what it's supposed to measure. This type of validity is concerned with whether a measure seems relevant and appropriate for what it's assessing on the surface. Good phase validity means that anyone who reviews your measures, right? When we say good phase validity, it means when someone reviews our measures, say that it seems to be measuring what it's supposed to be. So what we would like to measure, it should give the same measurement. That is called good phase validity. If anyone reviews it and he says that yes, it is measuring what we wanted to measure, then it is good phase validity. With poor phase validity, someone reviewing your measure may be left confused. If you have opened shop for a tea and you are asking question for a tea, it is okay. If you are asking question for a pakoda and everything, then the reviewer will definitely be confused. Means what about you are measuring and why you are using this method? Is it very simple? Like we have a face, the face should my name is Giriraj, so he should be a Giriraj. He cannot be a Ankit or Sumit or any other one. To have a face validity, your measure should be clearly relevant for what it's measuring, appropriate for the participants, adequate for its purpose, right? Now, here is the example, good versus poor phase validity. When you have prepared a questionnaire or a test, so when we can say that it is a good or a poor? So you are looking to measure participants' ages in a health study. Now you are doing a health study, and in that health study, what you are doing? You are measuring participant age. This is the one thing. So you have two methods of recording age. One is asking participant to self report their birth date, and then calculating the age. So you are asking a participant to give your birth date in a particular report, and then what you are doing, you are calculating the age. In the second method, what you are doing, counting up the number of gray hairs on each participant's head and guesstimating age on that basis. So these two methods have dramatically different levels of face validity. So in the first method, method is high in face validity because it is directly assessing age, and the second method is low in face validity because it is not a relevant or appropriate measure of age. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third validity is content validity. So the slide is full of some examples, and but it is very simple. What is content validity? So see, content validity evaluates how well an instrument, like a test instrument, we can say that it is a test. It can be a questionnaire, covers all relevant parts of the construct it aims to measure. Construct means you all have seen the questionnaire, right? And in that questionnaire there is a question, right? So that question is a construct. And here a construct is a theoretical concept, theme, or idea in a particular one that cannot usually be measured directly, right? So here is an example for content validity. A written exam test whether individuals have enough theoretical knowledge to acquire a driver's license, right? The exam would have high content validity if the questions asked cover every possible topic in the course related to traffic rules. At the same time, it should also exclude all other questions that are not relevant for the driver license. Very simple. A written exam test whether individuals have enough theoretical knowledge to acquire a driver license. Means if you are getting for a you are going for to get a driver license, they will test you that do you have a knowledge about driving or not. This is the simple question. Now there is a uh, there are three steps to calculate content validity or to measure content validity in a questionnaire, in a test or an instrument, right? Because it is made for what? Content validity, how you will measure, and it is made for what? It evaluates how well an instrument covers all relevant part of the construct. Means the how many the questions you have included in your questionnaire, and is it evaluating properly or not. This is all about content validity, right? So in step one, what you do, you have prepared a questionnaire, right? Here is you can you look at your screen. This is a questionnaire, and here are the questions, right? These are the questions. Now what you do, you collected data, right? And after collection of data you have prepared this questionnaire, and in the questionnaire these are the expert, right? You have given this questionnaire to experts. So how many experts are there? One, two, three, four, and five. So what they did, they read the question. Expert one read your questionnaire. First question he liked. Expert given his comment that he didn't like, or the first question is not relevant for the particular research you are prepared the questionnaire. Third expert says it is okay. Expert 4 says it is okay. Expert 5 says it is okay. So CVR, what is CVR? CVR is the content validity ratio. Content validity ratio. And here is the formula to measure content validity ratio. So NE minus N oblique 2 divided by N oblique 2. N is number of SME subject matter experts. SME means subject matter experts panelists, indicating essential. Means who take the question mark right, means it is essential. Essential means yes, you need to keep it in your questionnaire, right? So on the basis of that, expert means 5 experts are there, and we applied formula for that. And after solving of that formula, what ratio we have received? 0.6. So this 0.6 is a CVR, content validity ratio. Are you understanding it?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this way, 7 questions were there in the questionnaires, and 5 experts were there, and they have mentioned their point of, in their opinion, as in the form of essential, whatever they thought. So in step 2, calculate the content validity ratio. So by this formula, they have calculated it. Now, third step is to calculate the content validity index. After content validity ratio, what we have to measure? We measure content validity index. So its short form is CVI. So what they did, they the CVR ratio, they have calculated it. It's simple. They have means um, uh, adding all the CVRs and divided by the number of questions, and they got the average of the CVRs. So that average is called content validity index, right? 0.31 is what? CVI, content validity index. Now, how will you calculate that this content validity index means see if it is okay or not? How will you measure? So you will measure through this. This is the critical value. Critical value, if 0.31 is lower than 0.99, so it means it is too low. And if it is means same with the critical value or above this critical value, it means it is good, and it is actually what we intended to measure, representing it. So it is okay. So critical value is already decided uh, by the researchers. What we need to do only, we need to do identify CVR, and on the basis of CVR, we have to identify the CVI. And if our CVI, whatever our CVI, we need to compare with critical value. If it is comes under this, we can take that questionnaire perfect to measure what we are intended to measure. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third one is criterion validity. Criterion validity evaluates how accurately a test measure the outcome it was designed to measure, right? So criteria, see what is criteria? Criteria
Yes,
means
sir.
the
Sorry to disturb you. One question from the previous slides.
previous slide.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So if the value of CVI
Mhm.
is some X, and then when we check in the critical value list, which has
Mhm.
a number of panelists with the critical value,
Mhm.
if it falls under that range or if it is close to that, then we assume that the the content validity is good. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that how we
Yes.
conclude?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir.
It is a set standard, right? And how
Yeah.
many panelists we have choose, according to that, if it is near to this critical value, it means we can use that questionnaire for our as a tool for our research.
Okay.
So it is
So if, for
validating it.
example, if it varies a little bit, like if there are 5 panelists and if it is around 0.99, also we consider it as a valid content.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. If it is too far away from the critical value, like for example, if there are 5 panelists and the critical value is 0.55.
Hmm. Then it is low.
Okay, then probably we need to revisit the
Yes,
questionnaire to
yes.
change
We
the
need to
question.
revise our content of a questionnaire.
All right, sir. Thank you. Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
this is what about validity. So this is the process to check the validity.
So
So
how
if
do
it
we
is,
generally in real life, do we also do this? Like we look for the SMEs in that area and do we send the questionnaires to
yes,
them
yes,
for
when you go for a research, it would be definitely means difficult to prepare
find
a questionnaire.
SMEs also? SMEs also are not
You
easy.
can find SME, but it is also difficult to timely get the advice of the SME on that. Nowadays it is simple because through internet, through Google Forms and in emails you can ask. But preparing questionnaire is very difficult.
What kind of difficulties do people generally face
Way
while
you can ask when you you will took admission in PhD, because during your coursework they will taught you.
okay, that is taught during the coursework?
Yes, because see, research is a vast area. We cannot include all the things here. So we are
Okay.
reading according to net exam. So it is.
Yeah, that is out of curiosity. I mean, I
I
just
know you
want.
are curious, so we can discuss later after this class also.
All
You
right,
can
sir.
ask me any time. You can call me and ask me. Now I think we should
Yeah, we'll
complete
go
our
ahead with
class.
yeah, we'll go ahead with the content of the
So,
slide. Yeah.
yes, we have a short of time.
Right, sir.
Right. Thank you. Now third one is criterion validity. So what is criteria? Criteria means something which is already some standard which is already set, and now new standard you are preparing and you are calculating or you are comparing to it. So what the first standard giving result, so the same new standard should give the same result. So this is criteria. Criterion validity means you are comparing with a old test to a new test. So this is criterion validity. And what it evaluates how accurately a test measure the outcome. Means the result, whatever the outcome or a result you will receive uh, when you conduct your test, it should evaluate accurately. So that it is criterion validity. An outcome can be a disease, behavior, or a performance. So here is the example of criterion validity. See, a school psychologist create a shorter form of an existing survey to assess procrastination among students. How many of you know what is procrastination?
So it's postponement, like not doing it at that time and keeping it for later. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it day after. I'll do it at some
Yes,
other time.
delaying things, delaying task is a procrastination. So see what psychologist doing, he is he shorted a survey form, existing survey form, to assess procrastination among students, right? Although the original test is widely accepted, means the existing survey test is widely accepted as a valid measure of procrastination. But what is happening here, it is very long and takes a lot of time to complete. So as a result, many students fill it in without carefully considering their answers. So what a psychologist did to evaluate how well the new shorter test assess procrastination, the psychologist asked the same group to student to take both the new and the original test. Means a psychologist prepared a shorter form of survey of already, means a survey form, existing survey form was there. He cut short it, right? And now he is testing it on a student. So he given that survey form to students, and what he said that do what he did, he given both the existing survey form and the shorter form he prepared, he given both to the student, and they filled it. The student filled that survey form. Now, when he received both the survey form, what psychologist did? He did he tested both. He when he found the result of that survey, both survey, the the result were similar. Means the existing survey, which was very long, and the shorter survey which he prepared, the result was similar or somewhere near about. So the psychologist can was confident that the new test will measure procrastination as accurately as the original one, right? So how they measure the correlations between the scores on the test and the criterion variable means dv, the dependent variable, are calculated using a correlation coefficient such as Pearson's R. A correlation coefficient expresses the strength of the relationship between two variables in a single value between -1 and +1. So this is all about the measures, means how they will measure this criterion validity. So this is the way, means they measure it's with correlation coefficient such as Pearson R. There are other correlation coefficients also. So through this statistics they use to measure the criterion validity. Correlation coefficient values can be interpreted as follows, means they use correlation coefficient method to measure the criterion validity, right? And when they the correlation coefficient gives answer in -1, 0 and +1. So R1 means Pearson R is 1. So what it is interpretation, there is a perfect positive correlation. When it is +1 or a 1, there is a perfect positive correlation, right? Means there is a positive correlation in previous test, the existing survey test result and shorter survey test result. And if it is 0, there is no correlation. Means if test give a result 0, coefficient correlation is a 0, then there is no correlation between the existing survey test result and the shorter survey test result. And if it is -1, there is a negative correlation, right? So you can automatically calculate Pearson's R. Means Pearson's R is can be calculated in computer Excel, and these are the SPSS and R are the software for that statistical calculations. So positive correlation between a test and the criterion variable means dependent variable shows that the test is valid. No correlation or a negative correlation indicates that the test and the criterion variable do not measure the same concept. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now, final is construct
Sir,
validity.
please share the slides right after the class, sir.
Okay. So, construct validity concerns the extent to which your test or a measure accurately assess what is supposed to. See, what is construct?
Building.
Huh? Building.
Build-
Okay. And how buildings means prepared? What material they use to construct a building? The blocks, cement, right?
Yes, sir.
So construct is basically a blocks. Means I'll show you. This is a questionnaire, right? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So this is questionnaire. So this question is a construct. This question is a construct in research. And these are the measures according the answers of the subjects or the sample. we take their intention in this form, means strongly agree. This is Likert scale. And after getting this, when the samples filled it, and when it comes to us, we measure we give numbers to this points, means strongly agree has a different number, agree has a different number, uncertain, disagree, these are have a different number, and we calculate it through statistics, and finally we get our results. So the in questionnaire, these questions are basically construct, right? So what it measures, it is important what it measures. That is what about construct validity means. Questionnaire should have a validity, its question should have a validity, its content should have a validity, and its face should have a validity. Understood? Did you get what I said, or
Yes,
is
sir.
there any
Yes.
confusion?
Yes.
It is clear now. So construct validity concerns the extent to which your test or measure accurately assess what it's supposed to, right? Same is here, means in criteria, your outcome, we are measuring outcome, right? And in construct validity, we are measuring the particular questions. In research, it's important to operationalize construct into concrete and measurable characteristic based on your idea of the construct and its dimension. So be clear on how you define your construct. Means when you prepare a questionnaire, you should be very clear while defining your construct, your question, and how the dimension relate to each other, right? Dimension means you can break into different parts. Means if you have taken a psychology, so you are asking for an intellect, you are asking for a different kind of thing. So intellect, you are asking 3 questions. For mind, you are asking 4 questions. For personality, you are asking 5 questions. So these are the dimensions, means intellectual is a dimension, personality is a dimension, and questions are the construct related to each other before collect or analyze the data. This help you ensure that any measurement method you use accurately assess the specific construct you are investigating as a whole, and helps avoid biases and mistake like omitted variable bias or information bias. So example of a construct is, you develop a simple questionnaire to assess social anxiety in college students, right? You create questions to measure your construct of social anxiety. How often do you avoid entering a room when everyone else is already seated? These are the construct questions. And measurement, how do you measure this construct is through a pilot study. A trial run on a small sample help in its revision and statistical analysis. So this is about construct validity. Now we have completed the third characteristic of a research. What was it? It was validity. And how many type of validity we have understood? 5.
5.
Which tell me the name of that 5 types. First was
Internal, external, phase, right? Internal,
Isn't it
external, phase,
6?
content, then
and
criterion, then we have
criteria
construct.
and construct. So these are the 5. So question won't come in that deeper.
Isn't it 6?
No. We are talking, means there are more validity are there, but these major 5 validities which is important to understand
So there are
from
6, the number is 6, internal, external, phase. Then there is content, criterion, and construct.
sorry, 6 are there,
Yeah.
right? So now fourth characteristic of research is accuracy. What accuracy says? This is about being right and trustworthy, right? It's also about how research methods and tools are connected. Means whatever the methods and tools are you used in your research, that should be connected, then it is right and trustworthy, because it will give a right result or a conclusion. Accuracy also check if tools are chosen well and methods fit to the problem. Means if your research is accurate, so what it shows? It shows that whatever the tools you have chosen for your research and methods, it is perfectly fitting in your research. This is all about accuracy. Got it? Fifth one is credibility. Credibility means, see, if you go to a police station, or just understand in a real life example, there is always a one source of a police who gives information to the cops. So he always give a right information to the police cops. So when you ask which is the means which source is credible, so they can give you the name of particular source who is always giving right information, or he was very trustworthy. So in this way we understand this credibility means it's using the best information, right? The source person is giving best information and methods for research. So this is credibility. When it's using best information and methods, means your research is using best information and methods, is a credibility.
Like
Using
for
exist
example, picking a particular instrument over the other, there might be number of instruments used for measuring anxiety, but
Hmm.
the one that suits the study on hand, the problem that we are trying to solve, if we choose that particular instrument, then the result of the research becomes more credible. Can we understand it that way?
Yes, yes, it is right. Right. So the best information means best information, the literature, best literature you have used, right? And the methods means, as you said, that the tools and the best design, the sampling method, all the things you have used perfectly, then it is very credible, right? Credibility, it shows its credibility. Using existing data saves time and money, but means some people, what they do, they use secondary data and existing data. It saves time and money, but relying too much on existing data when we could collect new data might make the research less trustworthy. So when you do more rely on a secondary data to complete your research, it shows that it is very less trustworthy. So we need to balance using old and new data. So by balancing our data in a research, and it should be a very it should using a best information and best methods, and then it shows that it is trustworthy. In this way, the characteristic represent of a research is credibility, right? Now, generalizability. What is generalizability?
applying the applying the results of a research to a wider group.
Wider group. So means whatever we have identified through our research and the results, and that results we are going to implement on a wider group, and same result should be there. So this is about generalizability. So another characteristic of research is generalizability. Now, another characteristic is empirical research. Means empirical means using real experience. So, like what we see or directly know, it means the research is connected to a real situation and uses solid fact. This makes the research result more believable and applicable to the outside world. So, research, one characteristic of a research, it should be empirical, means should be a real real life we should take it as a real life experiences. So this is another characteristic. Another characteristic is systematic. As we have understood so many times, what is the systematic? Means it should be a planned, it should be a structured, it should go step by steps. This is all about systematic. Means it is very understandable. Means if anybody review it, and it should be connected to every step. This is systematic.
So in empirical research, doesn't
Hmm.
it also mean considering numbers? Like, for example, going with the values of certain variables and
Empirical means their characteristic. Means, see, research is basically to solve the real life problems of a people. So in that point of view, it should be empirical. It should
okay.
not always be a scientific. Means if you are doing a research which is not useful for the people, what does it mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Right. So in this way, it should be a empirical.
Yeah.
Right. And controlled factors, we understood systematic. Now controlled factors. So in real life experience, there is always more than one factor that affect the outcome of an event. See, we see in our life there are so many factors. So what means there are many outcomes of a situations or a event. So similarly in research, various factors may affect the outcome. Here we are talking about confounding variables. So some are taken as a control factors. Means from that factor some are controlled, right? And whereas other are tested for the possible outcome. Means here we are talking about factors. So there are different situations which what we say that disturb our research results, outcomes. So here that factor should also be controllable. You should control that factor. In this way, they are saying that it is also another characteristic in research that the all factors should be controlled when from the point of view of a outcome, possible outcome. So this is about controlled factors.
Some
Cyclic.
are taken as control factors means what, sir? Some are taken as control factors.
See, like two variable you have taken, independent variable and dependent variable. So these two factors are controllable.
Dependent is mostly based on the independent variable. So we are controlling the
These two
independent
factors are
variable.
controllable. They are control factors. And where some possibility, others are tested for the possible outcome. And where we took another factors also to get our outcomes in a research. Means, see, you have taken independent variable, you have taken dependent variable. These are the two control factors. Means you have a control on it from a point of research, right? And in the coffee example, we have understood that the time was also a factor, evening and morning. So
Yeah.
time. So we also test such kind of. This is just an example. There are many factors. So if is that factor is important, then we need to test it also for particular outcome, possible outcome. In this way, they took this characteristic, research characteristic, that controlled factors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another is cyclical. Cyclical means start with a problem, ends with a problem. A researcher complete his study, states his finding, draws conclusion and recommendation. In his recommendation, several studies may be conducted. Hence, research is cyclic. Simple. Logical. Another characteristic is logical. Good research is coherent. Means research follows logical thinking. What research do? It is follows logical thinking. Using reasoning and conclusion is really important in research. That is why it is logical and replicable. This characteristic allow the result of the research to be confirmed by repeating the study and after the building a sound basis for making decision. So when you do a research and generalize it on a larger people or another similar groups, or whatever means where you want to implement, it should give a same result. So in this way, you use same methods and you get same results. In this way it is replicable. So these are the basic characteristic of a research. So we have completed characteristic, and now we are moving toward the classification of research. Here is very important to understand classification. It's 49. So first, try classification. How research classified, right? So research is classified on the basis, and what are the basis? Basis are objective, outcome, logic, process, inquiry, and idea or a concept. So understand first objective. So objective means the purpose, correct? Can we say that objective is a purpose?
Yes.
We can say that. So from the point of objectives, type of research divided in 5 types. What are the 5 types? Descriptive, correlational, explanatory, exploratory, experimental, right? So we understand from here. In a descriptive research, what objective you will take? To describe the demographic characteristic and purchasing behavior of customer in a local grocery store. Here what word we are using in our objective is describe the demographic characteristic in a descriptive research. When you go for a descriptive research, and when there is a time you need to give objective, so what objective you will use for your problem is to describe the demographic, right? To describe the xyz on xyz on a particular place or a thing. Means you use describe word for your relations
I
between.
mean, how this can be explained is probably the example given is the purchasing behavior of customers, those who go to a grocery store.
Yes.
So if they are doing a descriptive research, it means they collect the details of probably where they stay, what is their age group, what is their kind of when do they come for shopping, these kind of information, general information, which gives them an idea as
Yes.
to who are the people who are mainly coming to the grocery store, what kind of people come to the grocery store, and what is their purchasing behavior.
Means, see, when means you have a objective, this like you want to describe demographic characteristic and purchasing behavior of customer in a local grocery store, right? So for that you have a objective, right? This is your objective for a
Demographic characteristic is what, sir?
characteristic.
Demographic.
The demographic means the people living over there, what age they have, what color they have, what income they have, how
The
many
general
male female
information about who they are, like what kind of people they are,
people are
which
there
race,
actually.
which ethnicity, which
Yes,
country or
kind,
city.
race, age, all about this demographic,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
So that kind of information is collected in descriptive research, where the
Yes.
population or
No, no, no.
the sample is described.
It may be a correlational, it may be a explanatory, it may be a different type of. We are just discussing about objective, we are discussing purpose only now. Don't go on methods.
Okay, sir.
We are
Yeah. This actually triggers a different kind of question. Like when we talk about research, can we use descriptive part of the descriptive research in other
see,
kinds of research
listen,
also?
I'll start from starting now. It is a classification of research, right? When
Yeah.
you go for a research, In this you understand better way. See, research are two types, basic and applied, right? Nature of a research is basic and applied. Now what is your goal or objective to complete that research? Means to start your research you need to finalize your purpose. Definitely you have a purpose or objective to start the research, isn't it?
Sir.
So you will use a way to go for your research. So now you have decided I will go for to explore something, like you have a variable which is explorable. So you go for a exploratory research. Now your variables are describable, so you go for a descriptive research, right? And now you have a your variable which can be a explainable, so you will select explanatory research. So in this way objective is the basis of your research. Means you classify your research on the basis of objective. All this basis will come in your all this.
एक ही research में we can get all these aspects, right, sir? Describing demographic details and
No.
correlate.
One research at a time may have a one type
Oh,
from
is that
point
so?
of
Like
objective.
that was my question. Like, will it have more than one kinds of research included in a particular study?
There are, see, when you do a research, there are 6 bases to complete your research. First basis, you will final your objective to complete your research, right? And
Yeah.
on that objective, when you complete your research, it will show a outcome. That outcome will show what is your research type. Means it is fundamental or applied. In fundamental, all these types may come, right? In applied, these types may come, but on the basis of classification, first your purpose is there. According to your purpose, you decided what kind of type of your research is there, and on outcome you will decide which in it falls in which category, which classification, which type, fundamental or applied. And what logic you use means for data calculations, what logic you use deductive method in your research, or you use the inductive method in your research. Then you process it. Means you will process your data in a quantitative or qualitative way. Means if it is a means your data is qualitative, then you go for a qualitative process. If your data is quantitative, then you go for a quantitative. There is mixed method also, where they use both the method. So this will explain the process. It is all about the classification of a research. Means which what kind of what type of your research is there. So this is the classification. Means what purpose you have, and what outcome will come, and what logic you use to in your research, and how you processed it. And inquiry mode, means is it structured or unstructured, and what was the idea or concept behind it. So these are the types. So now in a descriptive research, when you write objective, you will say that to describe, means my objective to describe the demographic characteristic and purchasing behavior of customer in a local grocery store. So demographic characteristic may change. This is one variable, and purchasing behavior is another variable. So you are describing this behavior, sorry, demographic character. You are describing these variables. So this is your objective. Just stick here only. We'll discuss it later. Correlational research objective. If your research is correlational, means you want to show a relationship between hours of a study and exam score among high school students. This is when there is a relationship. So your objective will always to determine the relationship. You use this word to explain your objective in your research. right? When it is explanatory research, objective is to investigate. When you go for a explanatory research in objective, you use investigate whether the implementation of a new employee training program leads to improved job performance and employee satisfaction. To investigate, remember, to describe, to determine the relationship, to investigate, right? This word you will use in your objective. Exploratory research, objective, to identify and explore potential factors influencing consumer preference for eco-friendly packaging in the personal care product industry. And experimental research, objective, to assess the effectiveness of a new drug. So these are the words which are very important when you start your writing and you will write your objective. So if it is a descriptive research, you will mention, means when a reviewer read your research writing or a report, so he will, if you mentioned your objective there and there is a word describe, he will within a second understand that this research is descriptive research. You got mine? Means your purpose was the researcher purpose was descriptive. Got it now? Hello.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
So this is about objective. Basis of classification means they have classified the research and they took a basis. So first basis is objective, and according to objective, we decide our research. Is it descriptive? Is it correlational? It is explanatory, exploratory, or experimental, right? The second basis is outcome. When the conclusion came or come when you complete your research, so that outcome show that it is fundamental and applied. So understand fundamental and applied. Now Chandrayaan 3. So first Chandrayaan 1 was the fundamental, and second Chandrayaan failed because of some issues or whatever the reason behind it. So what they used in Chandrayaan 3, the lander, they completely packed it with solar panels. In Chandrayaan 2, they didn't use solar panels on all the sides of the landers. Now they used all sites with solar panels. So applied is a they researched on the failure of the Chandrayaan 2. They researched it. They found something, that some mistakes they have done there. They did not used the solar panels all sides of the lander, and now they researched on it, and the outcome is that now they are using solar panels on all sides. So this is applied. And fundamental means the complete Chandrayaan procedure, the Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3, the complete procedure is a fundamental research. And in a fundamental research, particular topic they took, that is applied research. So these are the outcome, depend on outcome. When so we know the deductive and inductive approaches using means deductive means,
Fundamental is what, sir? I didn't understand. What is fundamental?
we'll discuss it later. Fundamental means what do you say? Fundamental means pure research, and applied research means where you use applications, and it is a very specific. Applied means it is a specific, a research had already been done, and there is some very as I have given the Chandrayaan example, that the complete procedure, making lander, orbiter, everything from earth to moon, covering distance and reaching there properly, successfully, is the fundamental research. Pure research means there it is a vast, it is included everything from point of start to end of the research. And in applied is used for a very specific thing, where they use, like when Chandrayaan 2 failed, they research on it. They research on it, why it has been failed. So the reason behind was that it did not got a connected with orbiter, because it fall down on moon surface, and the solar panel was only one side of the lander. So this is research, and fundamental research is complete procedure they have used
I
in.
think to put it in a single line, applied is basically improvisation, right? Like from the
Yes,
previous
yes,
versions, we are going to a new version which has enhanced features.
yes.
And fundamental is the mission to the moon, which is,
Fundamental is the mission to the moon, where we are creating new knowledge, right? Is a
yeah,
fundamental. And applied means now knowledge has been created, but there is something left,
lacking. Yeah.
lacking,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That is
yes.
applied. So, when you conclude your research will show, is it fundamental or is it applied?
Right, sir.
And after that, logic basis is logic. So in logic, what approach we have used? We use deductive logic or inductive logic. So deductive means top to bottom, and inductive means bottom to top approach, means theory to specific and specific to theory. And in process, what kind of data you have? It is quantitative data and qualitative data. So what process you used? You use quantitative process, qualitative process, or another one is mixed process, where you used both. So they identify that your research have a, इसको ले लेना अंदर. ठीक है. फिर then inquiry mode. So in inquiry mode, is it a structured or unstructured? So structured means well methodically writing of your research and connected to every steps. And unstructured is there also. I'll tell you later. An idea or a
Sir, I
concept.
think inquiry mode is about the interviewing style, where we have a proper questionnaire prepared for the interview process. And unstructured is spontaneous, based on what they answer. The researcher might ask different kinds of questions. Is it that way?
See, this is inquiry mode means structured means when reviewer look at your research. So he is connecting every chapters of your research, right? Means from taken the problem to the conclusion, everything is structured, right? And if he is not able to connecting your research, means if he is confusing at the end of your conclusion, that is unstructured.
How can that happen, sir? I mean, most research is structured. What I feel is inquiry is trying to find out what kind of information they would like to seek. Structured is probably having a more, what do I say?
No, it is. We are talking about research. So simply, how was your research? Is means you have taken. It is properly structured, or it is confusing the reviewer. It is simple.
But I don't get what is
मतलब क्या वो
unstructured.
क्या
How
कहना
can it
चाह
be
रहे हो आप? फिर से
unstructured?
मुझे बताओ, उसमें क्या आपके इंक्वायरी मोड से आप क्या ले रहे हो?
Inquiry, I'm understanding that it is related to what the researcher is trying to extract.
Inquiry mode is for the reviewer. It is a basis.
Isn't it for the researcher?
Is it also for a researcher? But inquiry mode for a reviewer. It is a
In
basis,
the
means here
second
we have
class,
taken.
you have explained about structured and unstructured. So
Hmm,
structured is used in quantitative research, unstructured qualitative research.
yes,
Structured objectives, design, sample, questions predetermined. In
yes.
unstructured, there is a flexibility for formulating the research.
That's what I'm
Unstructured is
saying.
to
That
explore the nature
unstructured
of the
is
problem.
always
Structured is
in
to determine the extent of the problem.
correct. You got it, ma'am?
Huh.
Okay.
Kind of, I'm able to, yeah, relate to this.
When unstructured leave you in confusion or a reviewer, or structured means it is well prepared and giving everything clear and cut, and idea and concept behind is conceptual or empirical, means you have taken a real experience for your research, and is it depend on a some kind of concept. This is all about. So it's 9:10. I think we should continue next topic from our next class. We concluded today. Okay. So who will wrap up with a closing prayer or a recitation?
I can do it.
People are there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I go ahead, sir?
Yes, yes, please.
You sit comfortably with your spine, neck, and head straight. Gently close your eyes and adopt Namaskara Mudra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub your palms. Place your palms on your face. Gently open your eyes and look at your palms. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Good day
Thank
all.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.